awakening question. Do you ever feel different from the world around you? Do you seem to belong to the chaos of everyday life, but to something deeper, broader? Maybe you are a highly enlightened soul, an entity that carries awakening from many lifetimes, who is here to carry out a noble mission. Paramahansa Yogananda, the great master of yoga and Indian spirituality, left invaluable teachings on enlightenment. In it, His Holiness emphasized that there are special signs that help to identify a soul that has reached a higher development. These signs are not easy to see in modern society, but once you recognize them, they open the way to help you understand yourself. Today, I want to explore with you 10 rare signs to know you can be a high-level enlightened soul. Listen deeply from the heart and feel connected to these knowledges. 1. You have a deep sense of self and the universe. An enlightened soul no longer sees the world with mortal eyes. You realize that you are not just this body, not just a small ego with everyday worries. You begin to realize that you are pure consciousness, an inseparable part of the infinite universe. This awakening does not come in a moment, but is a long process where you gradually let go of old notions, the definitions that society imposes on you. You're no longer stuck in the narrow sense of who am I question, but instead, you dive into the larger question. Where does this consciousness come from? What is my true nature? Why am I here? You no longer feel separated from the universe. When you sit under the starry sky, you not only see distant bright spots, but you feel an invisible but profound connection. When you walk in nature, you feel that every leaf, each drop of water also has a soul and its own beat. This awareness makes you slow down, observe more, and no longer rush to pursue meaningless goals. You become an observer of life, rather than just an instinctive reactor. 2. You feel lonely but not sad. Loneliness is something that many enlightened souls face. But this is not the loneliness of despair, but a meaningful loneliness. You may feel that you don't really belong here, that you don't really fit in with the shallow conversations, the trivial goals that others are pursuing. When people excitedly talk about fame and material things, you find those things empty. When people run after fleeting pleasures, you crave a deeper happiness that comes from within, not from ephemeral things. But the interesting thing is, you don't feel sad about it. You appreciate this loneliness because it helps you look inward, helps you hear your soul's voice more clearly. It is possible that in this journey, you will meet some people with the same vibrational frequency who can understand your depth. But if you don't, you still don't feel lost, because you've learned how to be friends with yourself. 3. You are not bound by material desires. You don't deny the value of matter, but you are not controlled by it. You may own luxuries, but you don't let them define who you are. You understand that money, fame, and status are all just tools, not the ultimate goal of life. While many people spend their lives accumulating wealth, you choose to live simply. Because you understand that true happiness doesn't come from how much money you have in your account, but from your state of mind. You can give up a high-paying job if it doesn't align with your values. You may live an idyllic life, but feel spiritually rich. You don't run with the trend because you know that you're full from the inside. 4. You have a strong spiritual mission. You don't just live for yourself. There is a very strong feeling within you that you are here to do something more meaningful, something that goes beyond personal needs. You may not know exactly what it is, but you always feel compelled to serve, to spread the light, to help others awaken. This can take many forms. You may feel a desire to impart spiritual knowledge. You may be drawn to meditation, yoga, healing, or vibration-enhancing art. You may feel that you need to guide lost souls, to help them find the light within them. In any form, you know that your mission is not to accumulate for yourself, but to contribute to the awakening of the world. 5. Your intuition is very strong. Your intuition isn't just a fleeting sensation, it's like a compass inside you, always pointing you in the right direction. You can sense who is sincere, who is a liar, even if they haven't said anything. You can walk into a room and immediately feel the energy of the place, whether it is peaceful or chaotic, light or shrouded in darkness. This intuition is not mystical, but a spiritual skill that you have developed over many lifetimes. You have learned to listen to subtle signals from the universe, from the magnetic field of energy around you. If a high-level enlightened soul makes a decision, they do not rely on mere logic. They listen to the intuition of the soul because they know that the highest wisdom does not come from reason, but from a connection to the cosmic energy. 6. You go through periods of painful awakening. Higher enlightened souls often do not have an easy life. You may have experienced extreme losses, sufferings, and trials, sometimes to the point where it seems unbearable. But instead of letting those pains ruin you, you grow from them. You no longer see adversity as random injustices, but as spiritual lessons needed to help you evolve. When you are betrayed, you learn about forgiveness. When you lose, you learn about impermanence. When you are suffering, you learn to turn inward to find true peace. Enlightened souls know that darkness is what helps the light to shine. Suffering is not the enemy, it is the teacher who helps you awaken. You have passed through the stages of spiritual death and then reborn in a higher version of yourself. 7. You feel unconditional love. Your love is no longer limited to personal relationships. You don't just love your family, your friends, you love strangers, you love nature, you love everything. This love is not romance, nor is it attachment. It is an absolute acceptance, a respect for the souls of people, no matter who they are. You see light even in the darkest of people. You don't judge anyone because you understand that everyone is on their own journey. You can forgive easily, not because others deserve it, but because your soul has reached freedom. You no longer love because you expect something in return. You give without receiving anything in return because you know that love is the true nature of the universe. 8. You are not afraid of death. Man's greatest fear is death. But when you reach a higher level of enlightenment, this fear dissipates. You understand that death is not the end, it is just the transformation of the soul. You are no longer identified with this body because you know that you are the eternal consciousness, the eternal soul. You don't panic when you think about death. You are not obsessed with age. You don't regret what you'll lose because you know it's all temporary. Instead of worrying about death, you focus on how to live a meaningful life. You know that your soul will continue to evolve, whether in one life or another. And it is this freedom from fear that helps you live more fully, love more, and not waste time on meaningless things. 9. You feel the energy and vibration of everything. You no longer just see the world with your eyes or hear with your ears. You feel everything with energy. When someone enters the room, you immediately feel that they are carrying positive or negative energy. When you come to a new place, you may realize that it has a peaceful or heavy energy. When someone lies, even if they say it very smoothly, you can still feel the insincerity. Because you're oscillating at a higher frequency, you're more sensitive to the energy around you. This can make you vulnerable to negative energies, but it also helps you know how to protect yourself. You start to be more selective about the people you spend time with, places you go, what you put into your body and mind, food, music, information. You understand that everything in this universe is energy, and you have a responsibility to maintain your energy at its highest state. 10. You live in the present, the state of flow. A powerful sign of a superior enlightened soul is the ability to live fully in the present. You are no longer stuck in the past, nor are you worried about the future. You realize that only this moment is real. When you eat, you enjoy each flavor. When you talk, you listen deeply. When you work, you are completely immersed in your work. This state is called flow, where you and the universe merge into one. You are no longer affected by confused thoughts, meaningless worries. You act from inner stillness rather than reacting instinctively. Living in the present does not mean that you are irresponsible for the future. It means that you believe in the flow of the universe and you know that everything happens for a reason. How to nurture and develop a high-level enlightened soul. After realizing that you have the signs of an advanced enlightened soul, the next step is how to nurture and develop this state. Enlightenment is not a destination, it is a flow, a constant awakening. If you don't continue to be diligent, your energy may be pulled down by the influences of the world around you. Here are important ways to help you maintain and develop enlightenment. 1. Practice meditation daily. Meditation is not just a method of relaxation, it is a gateway to your own depth. When you meditate, you are no longer trapped in chaotic thoughts. You enter the space of stillness where there is only existence, clarity, and tranquility. Try practicing breath meditation. Observe the breath coming in and out, feeling life in each breath. Mind observation meditation. When a thought arises, don't cling to it, simply recognize and let it pass. Meditation connecting to the universe. Feel the flow of energy flowing within you, connecting to the divine source. The more you meditate, the more your mind expands, the more your soul shines. 2. Letting go of the ego, living in a state of selflessness. The ego is the biggest barrier to achieving full enlightenment. It makes you identify with your identity, status, materiality, past, when your true nature goes beyond all of that. An enlightened soul lives in a state of selflessness, that is, not being trapped in the notion of me. When someone compliments you, you don't get carried away with pride. When someone criticizes you, you don't get hurt because you know that you're not those comments. When something happens, you don't react hastily, you simply observe, accept, and let it pass. Ask yourself, Am I acting out of love or from ego? If it's from love, keep going. If it's from the ego, let go. 3. Select vibration enhancement environment. Everything around you carries a certain energy frequency. If you're in a low energy environment, it can pull you down. Be careful with negative people. If someone is always spreading the energy of anger, envy, or fear, keep your distance. Negative information. Limit your exposure to harmful news and content that makes you lose energy. Processed foods, alcohol, tobacco, these things lower your frequency. Instead, nourish the soul with high vibrations. Stay around people with positive energy. Spend time in nature, absorb the energy of heaven and earth. Listen to high-frequency music, read spiritual books, practice gratitude. Remember, you can't glow if you're always surrounded by darkness. 4. Serve others with a pure heart. An enlightened soul not only seeks awakening for himself, but also helps others on their journey. Give what you have: knowledge, love, time, compassion. Practice seva, unconditional service, help without expecting anything in return. Be a light in the lives of others, even if it's just a loving word, a smile, or a small deed. When you give from a pure heart, the universe will fill you with greater gifts. 5. Put your faith in the flow of the universe. You don't have to control everything. You don't need to worry about the future. Because you're protected. Because the universe has a perfect plan for you. Trust in the Dharma, the path of your soul. Follow the guidance within. When you stop going against the flow, when you accept things as they are, you will see miracles begin to appear in your life. When you live in absolute trust, everything will naturally work out in the best way. Conclude. Each of these signs is not something that can be learned overnight, but is the result of many lifetimes, many spiritual lessons that the soul has experienced. If you feel that these things are true for you, then perhaps you are an awakening superior enlightened soul. Keep going on your journey. Don't let the world derail you. You have a mission that is greater than you ever thought. And you are not alone on this path. Namaste.